Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello MJ friends, so we had a day with some interesting action out there where some individual names were running pretty hard with some big gains to be had. And even if you're not in those names and benefiting, any name that goes green in this space, any name that sees big gains, that's beneficial to the sector. What we're looking to do is shift the psychology of the sector right now. And the more green that we see, the more that the scales start to tip a little bit, and it's only a beneficial factor. The more profit, the more green in the sector, regardless of who it's in as far as individual names, the better. So one observation that I want to make, the names that were running today, Labs, CRON was running but gave a lot of it back, TLRY was running but gave some of it back, and VFF. Those four names stand out to me as runners today. We saw some strength in those names previously, but today, that was their day. And what's notable is the dollar volume. So in my opinion, the dollar volume tells us that this is still retail traders making this move happen. Now, what do I mean by that? Before we go into our regular technical analysis, so just very rough math, if we're looking at the 20-day average volume on VFF, we're looking at about $8 million traded. If we're looking at Labs 20-day average volume, we're looking at about $4.5–5 million traded a day. If we're looking at even TLRY, we're looking at about $22 million traded a day. Maybe a little bit more than that, but less than $25 million traded, let's say. So those are the names that are running today. Who is not running today? Well, we didn't really see CRON, or I should say we didn't really see CGC, APHA, or ACB run much. The anomaly to what I'm about to say is CRON. We'll touch on that in a second. But CGC, dollar volume, average daily over $100 million. APHA, average volume traded, probably about $33 million or so. And ACB, total dollar volume, is more in line with 45–50 million. Those are very rough numbers. What I'm highlighting is two of our biggest runners see less than $10 million traded a day. And that is allowing for a little bit of dollar volume to have a large impact on the price. So when I say this is likely retail making this move happen and not big institutions, that's what I mean by it. So just off the top of my head, I could list out right now 10 Chart Guys members that trade with more than 6 figures when they're trading the MJ sector when conditions call for it, of course. So that alone is $1 to $2 million worth of trading out of 10 people from retail traders. So if there's $1.5 million of trading right there, and the total daily volume is $4 to $8 million, those 10 people can have a very significant impact on what that stock does that day. If that same dollar volume, $1.5 million, goes to CGC, just a tiny blip on the radar doesn't mean anything. So when CGC and these high dollar volume traded names are running, you better believe institutions and market makers are a big part of that. We don't need institutions and market makers to run a name that trades $4 to $8 million a day. Retail can make that move. So that's the point that I want to make. Is it a good thing or bad thing? No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing in the sense that, again, people are making profit as bulls. Some shorts are losing money, and it starts to shift that psychological perspective of the market. So it'll be different when we see the big names doing it. We'll know that there's bigger money behind it. And that's likely when we'll see the sector move as a whole. We're moving in the same direction as a whole the last week, but clearly names standing out. So let's now look at our individual, regular old technical analysis. So a little bit toppy on CGC, not really a whole lot of days range. Are we still keeping the hourly uptrend at this point? You could say yes. No real consolidation yesterday on the hourly, so I would say today's consolidation was for an hourly higher low. We failed to break the high of the day, and then we consolidated more. So if we fail to break 22 tomorrow and then drop down and break the low of today, 21.35, that tells us our temporary top is set, and we have to form a daily higher low. The bulls must hold 1961 for a daily higher low to form to keep this little uptrend intact. When we lose the daily higher low pattern, we zoom out and say, all right, our weekly lower high has most likely been set. So the vast majority of the sector has not changed their daily trend yet. So some names have seen some nice runs, but don't lose sight of the fact that, let's say 80% of the sector has not changed the daily trend, and even the names that are seeing strength and have changed their daily trends, we are just looking for weekly lower highs. So it is fine to stay skeptical as a bull in this space right now, and I myself am skeptical as a bull, and I lock in profits when I have them as a bull, as I'll talk about in just a second as well. But as of right now, looking for a loss of the hourly uptrend, to look for a daily higher low to form on CGC. If we see increasing bear volume, it would certainly stand out. And if we don't, we will look for a higher low to form. And we're going to continue watching these 12 and 26 period exponential moving averages, which have not crossed bullish since we were up at $52. And they're not close to crossing bullish. The more we trade sideways, the closer they'll get to each other. I would say if we can see one more little daily higher low and higher high, then we might get that bull cross. So CRON today is the anomaly of the dollar volume scenario that I just laid out, in the sense that CRON's dollar volume is in line with, let's say $50+ million traded. There's a lot of dollar volume there. The difference is we cut through a lot of price action with this recent move. And when you see that kind of volatility, you open up space. That's why we look for equilibriums to happen. When you see price discovery and new ranges hit, that's when we look for equilibriums, because it's easier for price to move. Once you slice through, imagine it's like, I don't know what kind of analogy to give, but you slice through something that's thick and hard to get through, and then it makes it easier to go up and down. The price movement is easier once you already go through it. So the fact that we had that gap up open, even though it was all profit taking from there, going back up through those levels is easier than if that did not happen. And that's just from observation of watching how charts work. So we're going to be looking for CRON to give us a lower high, but a big volume spike on CRON. There's a ton of dollar volume there today. We're talking $100 million. And that was probably something institutional going on. That's not retail. Retail's not putting up $100 million of volume. Something else is going on there. But again, we're just looking for an equilibrium. Anything under 1056 is a lower high. Then we'll look for a higher low compared to our 806 recent low. So we got our low, high of the bull move, higher low, and we're scouting a lower high. And this equilibrium is going to be a good one to be watching into early to mid-November. So APHA, a little bit of follow through. I did sell APHA today, and potentially a little bit premature, but honestly what it boiled down to is, number one, I'm still trading counter trend as a bull in this sector. Number two, I didn't want to watch stocks today. I had other stuff to do. Today's my off day, and I traded for the first half hour today, and part of what I was doing was selling positions. I exited OH, APHA, and ACB, and that prevented me from having to watch anything today. And now I can start tomorrow with a fresh, clean slate and start next week with a fresh, clean slate. So bulls do still have control on APHA, and we might see a little bit more green from here, but I was perfectly content locking in that move, which ended up being, I don't know off the top of my head, but a solid 5% plus from an entry in the low 480s. So we have an hourly higher low. Again, we didn't consolidate yesterday, which is why I sold. Again, knowing that we would need hourly consolidation. So I sold this morning. We got the hourly consolidation, and then we recovered from it. But 494 is our hourly higher low. The bulls want to see a break first thing tomorrow of 515. There is a lack of clear resistance in this range right now. We're looking up at 540, and then the most important level is 554. Best case scenario for the bulls is big money shows up now in APHA and would just go straight through 554. We would have to see increasing bull volume to see that kind of move and that kind of follow through. Again, the fact that we've already bounced a significant percentage the last few days, and the fact that we would need another 6 to 8% to get up to that resistance means these bulls, hey, two birds are fighting. We don't fight around here. So we're looking for a daily lower high compared to 554, and then that equilibrium would be a good one to play, just like CRON. It's very similar to CRON. The difference is CRON resistance is a lot further away. ACB. So ACB is still hanging in there. We have our low, high of the bull move, higher low, and the bulls now need a break of 391. Not a ton of distance has to be covered to get up there. It would be about 6-7%. We haven't seen much bull strength in ACB. It's been standing out day after day as one of the weaker names in the Canadian MJ sector. So keep an eye on it. The fact that, if we didn't have CRON make that move today on that kind of volume, I'd say it's all retail. That's not going to make any kind of move on the major names. But the fact that we saw $100 million on CRON means keep an eye out on these other bigger names. Let's see if we get just a big volume spike day, maybe on ACB or APHA tomorrow. So we're seeing a little bit of one-on-one action in the sense that one name will run, the other name will run. I don't think it's a group running from one name to the other. I think it's just this sector morphing and adapting to current conditions and seeing, like I said, what stood out on Monday and had me paying extra attention to the bulls was the lack of bear follow-through from our temporary top being set. Now the question is, are the bears done? We're not seeing convincing bullish action, but it's there for the taking if some bull volume does show up. TLRY had a big bull move today. Again, big volume. So the average volume is low. Certainly not that low today. It was $75 million traded. So that's notable as well. And a clear daily trend change, higher low of 2103, bull break of 2273. Zoom out, we're just looking for a weekly lower high. We know not to get FOMO or get too crazy. If I want a position in TLRY and I'm not in one right now, I will probably wait for a weekly higher low to form. But anything under 33.66 is a weekly lower high. The daily chart has made a nice move. We did see a good amount of profit taking, but we're just looking for an hourly higher low. Again, this is not retail. You can't see retail throw up $75 million like that. And that, again, has us paying attention to this sector as we started doing Monday based on just subtle little clues of price action. So VFF, the big winner, continues. Little uptick in volume here as well. Keeping in mind we have not changed the daily trend. We will definitely anticipate a daily higher low will form when we top out. The question is, can we change the daily trend? Remember, we had a great weekly move on VFF, and we expected a weekly higher low. We got it, and we kept saying we must change the weekly trend, and we failed to do so when we dropped to a lower low. So it's the same thing, but on a smaller time frame. This is a great bull move. This is a great bull move, but we have to see a daily higher low and higher high to put pressure on the bears. The pressure's on the bears. To continue pressure on the bears, shorts are going to be jumping in on this play. And even myself, earlier today, I posted in the chat room saying, if I had easy accessibility to VFF shorts, which I don't on Fidelity, but if I did, I'd be looking to begin scaling in a short position. And that was when the price was 840. And I said an initial entry, and then I would perhaps save a second position for an entry at 860. It then got to 2 p.m. and I said, wow, the bulls in the sector are holding on really well. We haven't hit 860 yet, but I'm going to change my game plan because of the time of the day. Because in my opinion, a stronger close is more likely at this point than a weaker close because we're not seeing a blow off top kind of move. And if the bulls have held on this long, they're likely to close strong. So I then said, okay, I will not enter that second position at 860, and I will look to enter that second position tomorrow morning. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I'm in a position short at 840. I have one more position to add. Let's say we start a little bit of strength tomorrow. I add that position at 880. My break-even price is now 860. If we consolidate on the hourly time frame back to 860, I would exit half of that position at break-even to free up cash again and to make my cost basis better. It would be the same position size that I would have now, except it's a break even of 860 instead of 840. And then I would just patiently wait to look for some daily consolidation because we are due to find a daily higher low. And if my break even price is at 860, that is where it would be on the, again, this is all hypothetical. I do not have a VFF position right now, but that would be my break even essentially right there. And if I look at that on the 4-hour time frame, I'd be pretty confident that, that's a decent position to be in, looking for some healthy consolidation. Why did I look to go bearish on VFF? Because the hourly RSI, if I scroll back at the last 6 months of trading action, is right around 80. How long does the hourly RSI stay above 80 before we get consolidation? And I can go all the way back to the all-time high, and pretty much the run to all-time highs is the only time we stayed above 80 RSI on the hourly time frame for any significant period of time. So that makes me even more confident, saying, yes, okay, we are overextended. We are due for some hourly consolidation at the least. And that is just me thinking aloud on a hypothetical trade, and hopefully that gives a little bit of insight. So VFF, we are looking for a temporary top when we do lose the hourly uptrend, which isn't going to be lost anytime soon because anything above 821 is an hourly high or low. But when we lose the hourly uptrend, we zoom out, we look for a daily higher low to form, and then again, we must change the daily trend. Labs. So added labs to the video yesterday, and that is not me adding labs to the video yesterday causing that kind of volume. But big follow through, and definitely a leader and a standout in the extraction space. VGW is not doing anything, so labs certainly is. Daily higher low established on labs was 413. We broke 462. We broke 5 psychological. 514 is the next level. That's where we stopped out today, or topped out, I should say. So we'll see if we can get follow through. Have we changed the daily trend? Yes, we are in an uptrend. We zoom out to the weekly chart, and the weekly resistance, anything under 549 is a lower high. That's still over 10% from where we stand right now, right around 10%. So if we top out before breaking that resistance, we will then have an inverse head and shoulders pattern to be watching. Bulls have tons of space for a weekly higher low to form, and then just like everybody on the daily and everybody on the weekly, we must confirm the trend change from there. So it'll be interesting to be watching labs over the next few weeks as we do look for a weekly trend change, as not many names are in weekly uptrends in this sector. Hexo just keeps getting hit with bad news, not good optics, firing, I forget the number, 200,000 came into my head, but there's no way they have 200,000 employees. 2,000 employees, they're firing some people, they're trying to cut costs. Daily inside bar, after the dilution news yesterday was a very short-lived pump. Support's down at 245, and then we're looking down at 228 if 245 breaks. Unable to change the daily trend. Bears still have complete control of the daily and weekly time frame. OGI is giving us a little bit of a red flag short term. Not enough to bail just yet. If I were in a position right now, my stop would be 339, because if that level breaks, we then have an inability. We tried today to see continuation, and we failed. We could not break 380. We closed weak, and if we drop down and break 339 from here, we have a daily lower high and lower low, which means our weekly lower high will be set at that point, and you could technically say that is still a weekly bear flag. So bulls really want to hold that low of daily consolidation and confirm that bull flag over 380, and so far a failure to do so today. Curaleaf, nice bounce, double bottom with the low of yesterday, right off 685 support as well, and we saw some nice movement, but again, we know we're just looking for a daily lower high, so not a whole lot of follow through at this point. Have we changed the hourly trend? I would say no, not really in a clear way. It's not clear either way you look at it, but we're looking for a daily lower high compared to 853, and at this point, it's just some short-term defense being played by the bulls, and we're nowhere near changing the daily trend, so the bears are still comfortable, and there's no dollar volume behind this move today. We just went through those daily dollar volume levels for Canadian MJ. Dollar volume on Curaleaf today was about 4 million or so. It's also notable that Canadian MJ is seeing this move, and US MJ not really seeing a whole lot going on the past couple of days this week. The observations that we made to be looking at the bulls were definitely on the Canadian side of things, and it's following through on the Canadian side of things, not on the US side of things at this point. What's the deal with the SAFE Act? I have no idea. We don't have any updates. Again, I'm not holding my breath for the SAFE Act. I would love to be pleasantly surprised and have that go through, but I'm not basing any of my plans around that happening. CWeb, still extremely weak. Can't see 2 green days in a row. Bulls doing nothing. We're fading back to 1560 support. OH. So I sold OH this morning, pretty much at the high of the day. Just lucked out a little bit in regards to that. But why did I sell OH? So I played OH off of 492 support yesterday, and I played it because the hourly RSI was oversold. So as soon as that hourly RSI is no longer oversold, my reason for being in the trade is no longer there. I know a daily lower high is coming on this bounce, and I know that I'm playing counter the trend as a bull. So why would I sell? I have 3% gains against the trend, and if I lock in 3% gains when I'm trading against the trend, things are going to go well in life. And I know that I'll have bigger than 3% gains when we're in daily uptrends and I'm trading with the trend as a bull, but that's not where we're at right now. So I know want to give a little bit of proof, because whenever I come on after the fact and say that I sold at the high of the day, obviously that's hard to believe. But 9:51 a.m. out APHA and OH, locking in gains. And there's my order filled at 418. So again, just a little bit of luck to actually nail the top of the US ticker right at the high of the day. But that was the plan from the get-go. Selling that position today, again, partially due to the fact that I was not going to be at the computer today, knowing that I'm playing counter the trend, knowing the hourly RSI is no longer oversold, knowing it's a 3% gain. Yes, it was a small position, but I'm going to lock that in every time. So now we're back down towards our low. Support is still holding, but would not be surprised at all to see that support break. And that does not mean I'm no longer interested in OH. It means back off as a bull and patiently wait if we break 492. But now that I like playing with that discount. I like the fact that OH now has a very big discount again, because that means any news of progress that we get towards a deal, there is going to instantly be discount shrinkage. And I like that headwind, not a headwind, tailwind at our backs as a bull for when we get any information there. So patiently waiting to see if 492 can hold. If it can, I'll sit on the sidelines and wait for the daily lower high to be set. But other than that, it's going to take some updates on this deal to get that discount to shrink back down again. CL, unable to change the daily trend at this point, have to break 889, or it is a failure, and it's a potential weekly bear flag on CL. At this point, there's a good amount of space before that low, so wouldn't be surprised if the bulls can negate that bear flag, but have to break 889 to start to look for that to be negated, in my opinion. TRUL, I'm still riding my swing position. It would definitely, we don't have a clear higher low on the daily yet. We have not seen enough bull action to say, okay, yes, our daily higher low is 1287. That has not happened yet, but it would be a bit of a red flag if we were to break 1287 from here. Because right now, the table is set for the bulls to make their push to higher highs, or at least to test 1375 resistance, and we're not seeing that happen just yet. So if we see a red day tomorrow, it's going to be a bit of a red flag to me, and it's personal preference if I wanted to stop out if this level breaks, because that means we're going to lose the 12-period exponential support. It's going to increase the odds that our weekly lower high, or I should say that weekly consolidation, we have already changed the weekly trend, but that would increase the odds that weekly consolidation has to then take place. So I may exit TRUL if we see a bear break of 1287 from where we stand right now after multiple inside bars sideways. IAN, little bit of follow through. We know we need a more clear consolidation to find a daily higher low. This was not a daily higher low for me, 211. It's a support level, but I want a clear pivot point, and then I need a clear trend change. So just like VFF, IAN has not changed the daily trend. Meanwhile, it's gone 60%, 55%. Huge move with no daily trend change. We are just looking for a weekly lower high to be set. We do still have to see a daily trend change to have confidence in continuation. And if we were to see a break of 211, that would be the clear consolidation that we're looking for to try and form that daily higher low. But still holding on just fine. A weak close, very low volume. Again, you want to talk dollar volume. Here we're looking at $2 million of volume a day. And today, way less than that. Today was $700,000. GTII, nice play off of 1134 support. We bounce off of it by 1 penny, just 1 penny below it. Solid move. We are just looking for a daily lower high to form compared to 1280. Again, this is probably the most clear equilibrium in the MJ space right now, with our low, high, higher low, lower high, double bottom, scouting a lower high. Have we changed the hourly trend? I would say no. We need a clear hourly higher low and break of 1169 to call that an hourly trend change. And we don't have that just yet. So again, just expecting a daily lower high at this point. MedMen seen a nice bounce from the all-time low, but no daily trend change. Just looking for a lower high, anything under 247. And we would need a clear daily trend change to see any kind of meaningful shift in momentum. Nice gains for the bulls though. Declining bull volume, a lot more bear volume than bull volume on the way back up. Close at the high of the day. Hourly higher low has not been set. So even if we start strong tomorrow, we know hourly consolidation is probably not too far away. That's where we stand in the sector. Canadian MJ, definitely a better week than US MJ at this point, gaining that attention. And hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'll check back in over the weekend. To wrap it up here, we're going back to the Ducks' old footage. And I'll get some new animal sanctuary footage for this coming weekend. Update for the ducks, we had another female come back and bring a male mallard with the big green head with her. And I could tell it was a female duck, or one of the babies, because she could care less. She was very comfortable with me around, whereas as I'm walking around the pond, he didn't take his eyes off me. So there's those two that potentially are scouting it out to come back in the spring. And I've also got a muskrat hanging around now. It ate a bit of my butterfly bush that I planted around the pond, but he's not really disrupting a whole lot. He eats lily pads, and he's cool with me. We'll see how long he sticks around, but pretty much just a mini beaver. And I thought it was a baby beaver at first until I got on Google and saw that a muskrat is pretty much a mini beaver, and it eats lily pads. And I saw it eat a lily pad, so it's a muskrat. Thanks again. Do good things. See you soon.